Finding the message and moral. Tuesday's lesson. Here are your learning targets and success criteria. Read them along with me as I read them out loud. I am learning to identify, which also means find, the lesson or message that a story teaches me. Your success criteria. I will know that I am successful when I can find and explain the message or lesson in a story. So think about this. What is a moral or a message of a story? A moral or message in a story is the lesson that the author wants you to learn from that story. Sometimes the character can learn from it, but ideally we want to know what is it that readers, like yourself, can learn from it. What life lessons can you take from that? It doesn't always necessarily involve what's exactly happening in the book, but what can you take into your real life? What are the problem and solution of the story? The problem is a problem the characters have, or something that the characters are trying hard to do. The solution is how the characters solve their problem. Use the solution to find the message. In order to find and explain the message, which can also be called the moral or lesson, first, we find the problem. What's going wrong for the characters in the story? Then, we find the solution to the problem, which is how they solve it. Finally, we can find what lesson that we and the characters can learn from this and use in our own life in many other things that we can do. So here's a quick little map down here at the bottom. Problem in a story is our problem. It'll guide us to the solution, and if we can understand the solution, it might lead us to the lesson or message, which can be more than one. So for example, yesterday in the dot, the problem in the story was Vashti felt that she couldn't draw. The solution in the story, her teacher liked the single dot that she made on the paper. That encouraged Vashti to continue and make more dots. So a lesson that we can learn from this story is sometimes we just have to start something. Or maybe it has something to do with we don't always have to be perfect. Or it could be a lesson kind of like maybe it's okay not to be perfect. You just have to start something and then continue, or even push yourself to do better than the last time that you worked on something. Can you think of something that's happened to you before where you didn't feel like you did well with, and then someone encouraged you, or you just started and tried and then you were successful? That's an example of how we can use the problem solution to find the lesson or message in a story. Today you're going to read the title, Sharing the Crops. This assignment is going to be in Kami on Google Classroom. You'll scroll down to the pages. When you go to Google Classroom, it will tell you what pages they're on and what pages the questions are on and which one you should do. They're also on the slideshow titled While You Are Out. This title today is a folk tale from England. So England is a completely different country. But think about folk tales. Folk tales teach us lessons. They have messages that they want children and students to learn. And they're typically older tales that were passed down from generation to generation. So read this to yourself. If you have the chance, take a look at the purple box, Close Reader Habits. These are good skills for readers to use. Underline any key details that will help you understand the text better. Then you will answer question number 1, which has 2 parts, so be very careful. And then you will answer the short response, which is number 3, and you can type it on the page that it gives you, or you can scroll down to the following pages to have more room to write your short response. Remember, try to use your race response to help you give a more detailed explanation. R stands for restate, A stands for answer, C stands for cite, and E stands for explain. Feel free to rewatch this video if you need to hear the directions again, and pause at any time that you need. I look forward to seeing your work.